Oh boy, one of my favorite Sonic games ever just got an HD remaster. I bet everyone loves this. Oy vey. Anyways, who remembers the Nintendo Wii? It was kind of sort of an upgrade over the GameCube and was the original home for not only 100-pin Wii Sports Resort Bowling, but also Sonic Colors. I've already gone over my thoughts on this game, its story, and why I love it so much in a 50-minute long video from 2019, where I also briefly reviewed literally every other Sonic game that was out at the time. Today's video is solely focused on the long-awaited HD remaster of Sonic Colors, Sonic Colors Ultimate. This is a release I wanted ever since I played Sonic Generations and saw the HD reimagining of Planet Wisp. It was so gorgeous, and really put how much more powerful the Xbox 360 and PS3 were over the Wii into perspective. HD Sonic Colors is something I felt needed to happen, especially since, until recently, most folks seem to consider this one of the best games in the entire Sonic series. I don't know what's changed. People seem so much more harsher about it nowadays. I mean, sure, Sonic Colors has more 2D sections than 3D sections, and some Sonic fans will go on angry, in-depth rants if you call it a 3D Sonic game, but you know what? I still think it's an absolute blast. Anyways, literally a couple of days ago as of this video, Sonic Colors Ultimate got released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox PC, and Nintendo Switch. Apparently the former 3 versions are actually pretty decent too. I don't know, G to the Next Level said that the Xbox version was a good fun time, and that's a source I trust. As for myself, I got the humble Nintendo Switch version. Now, I know this version of the game won't upscale to 4K or anything. I mean, after all, it's on the freaking Nintendo Switch. That system isn't as powerful as a PS4 or Xbox One, let alone the PS5 or Series X. That's to be expected, but should still be perfectly fine and functional, right? Right? Oh, please be right. Well, long story short, it's not. If the Nintendo Switch port is any metric of console power, then the Switch seems to be slightly less capable than even the Wii was. But before we go on, hi, welcome to Stuff We Play, home of everything weird and retro. I reserved the Switch copy of Sonic Colors Ultimate months in advance because I really wanted to get that baby Sonic keychain that came with pre-ordered copies. Congrats EB Games, GameStop Canada, you got $55 out of me. The main reason I opted for the Switch version is the same reason I ever go for the Nintendo Switch version of a new game over the other modern console versions. I just wanted to be able to play it portably. I still own my original Wii copy of Sonic Colors, so I didn't really see any reason to get another strictly at-home version of it for myself. My hype was immeasurable until a couple of days before launch. For folks who reserved the digital deluxe version, they got the game a few days before everyone else. And as soon as that release dropped, my Twitter feed got flooded with a bunch of claims that this was just as unpolished and unplayable as the likes of Sonic Boom on Wii U and Sonic 06. But unlike those games, when I got my hands on Sonic Colors Ultimate, I actually managed to beat it on my first run. And then for good measure, I went back and beat it again. Remember, this is the version of the game that was rumored to be so glitchy it could cause seizures, even though most of those supposed glitches have since been debunked. Even if not as bad as many claim though, it's still not a great port. It's bad enough that it even gave my fiancé a headache from watching me play it. No joke, at one point it made them feel so nauseous that they had to go lay down. Sorry Xander, love you babe. I promise Starlight Carnival isn't real and can't physically hurt you. Before we get into my experiences with glitchiness and performance issues though, we gotta talk about what I liked here. Because, believe it or not, there's a lot I actually really like about this remaster. Look, at its core there's still a fun game there. It makes sense. Sonic Colors in its original form was already a title I really enjoyed. And Sonic Colors Ultimate is the same structurally, story-wise, control-wise, and even as far as all of the returning Wisp powers go. I say returning because these little alien friends that give Sonic power-ups have a new addition to their crew, the Jade Ghost Wisp. This lets you latch on to secret little rope swing things that phase through walls and collect collectibles, including red rings and these fancy star coins, which you can spend in the new character customization shop. I'm so glad to see character customization becoming a more standard thing in Sonic, especially as I thought the character creator was the best part of Sonic Forces. And while this isn't nearly as in-depth as that, changing Sonic's gloves, shoes, and even his boost aura is a really cool addition I didn't know I wanted. I don't know if I like the grid pattern or the metallic purple more, but both styles just speak to me. You can even unlock special dark outfits by beating Metal Sonic and Rival Rush races. But wait, what are Rival Rush races? Well, besides being an awesomely alliterative assortment of words, they're a new addition to Sonic Colors Ultimate that give the red rings scattered throughout the game a whole new purpose. Don't worry, you still also use red rings to unlock extra stages in the Sonic Simulator area and to unlock Super Sonic, but Super Sonic requires you to get every red ring in the game. The Metal Sonic races are unlocked by collecting 15 rings in every zone. And that's any 15 red rings from any of the 6 main acts in each zone. And once you unlock the Metal Sonic race, you have to, well, race against Eggman's mechanical Supersonic Marvel through a single act. And my god, these races are tough! But when the game works as intended, they're a fantastic way to test your reflexes and knowledge of the level layouts. They give Sonic Colors just that much more replay value. With that said, why the hell did they change how dying in a bottomless pit works? Yeah, no, the devs actually did that. And if you die in a bottomless pit, instead of instantly starting back at the last checkpoint, you have to watch Tails hover around holding your revived corpse for a few seconds, then spurt out a line about how he saved your life, and then you can continue through the level. Sonic Colors was never a super difficult game, and I never saw anything particularly wrong with how lives worked before, so I gotta ask, was this really a necessary change? Also, you know what addition I feel really mixed on as well? The remix soundtrack. For some reason, Sega decided to remix part of the OST for this remaster. Yeah, weirdly, not every tune in Sonic Colors Ultimate is a remix, though when it comes to those remixes, some of the tracks, such as the remix of Eggman's Big Boy and the various Aquarium Park remixes, are awesome. Oh, for those curious, Sega says this boss here is officially called the Rotatatron in one of the videos they recently released online. However, Eggman still refers to it in-game as his Big Boy. So yes, in Sonic Colors Ultimate, you still get to beat Eggman's Big Boy. It's a hard battle of stiff competition, and you have to really ride out this fight well to end up on top. And once the battle is built up to its climax, it bursts into a beautiful explosion of golden rings. Okay, back to the music. The OST is on the whole pretty great, but some tracks still underwhelm, such as the new version of the main theme, Reach for the Stars. I know that's controversial because a lot of people love this mix, but for some reason it's just not doing it for me. The worst of the new remixes though is definitely the new theme of Sweet Mountain Act 1. The original version of the song had horns! Horns, I tell you! And this new version of these more chiptune-esque bits just sounds so empty in comparison. What's completely inexcusable here is how poorly optimized the game is for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know much about Blind Squirrel Entertainment, but what I do know is that the load times in Sonic Colors Ultimate on Switch are often way longer than the original Wii version. One of my favorite things about the original is how, as soon as you press start at the title screen, you just get thrown into the first level. And actually, you don't get any story at all till you even beat the second level, Tropical Resort Act 2. And other 3D Sonic games have done this since then, but Sonic Colors was really the first of the 3D games to do it, that I remember anyways. And that initial act intro / load screen is so snappy in the Wii version. Yeah, that's present in front of every level in the game, it's very clearly a cleverly designed load screen, but in the original title, it just feels like it added a bit of flair to hype you up. In the Switch version though, this thing takes a hot minute. Literally. It's really jarring and breaks the pace, and some of you may think that this might just happen on Act 1 of every zone since those are the longest levels, but no, some Act 1s loaded nearly instantly. Some shorter later acts took forever though. I don't know what causes the long loading, but when it does happen, it's a royal annoyance. Especially as annoying is the frame rate and its associated issues. Sonic is a series all about speed, momentum, and flow. So why the hell can't this port of a 10-year-old Wii game run at a stable 60 FPS on the Switch? It usually runs around 30, but drops most but not every time a lot happens at once on screen. The frame drops are even god-awful on early levels such as Tropical Resort Act 1. I know, the first stage of the game and the first impressions are really not great. These frame drops are also way inconsistent. Sometimes the game seems to run flawlessly, or as flawlessly as it can while at what feels like a throttled frame rate. Other times though, it's a hot mess of frame drops and glitches. And holy fuck, the glitches are bad. Well, like, not as bad as Twitter rumors made them out to be from my experiences, but they can still be absolutely gnarly when they happen. To start, despite toying around as much as possible and following a bunch of different combinations of actions, it seems like the seizure-inducing glitches from Twitter really were just a hoax. I have not been able to replicate them at all, and this was while playing an unpatched launch version of the game. But make no mistake, there are many glitches here. Sometimes I'd grab a wisp and the background music would just cut out. Sometimes the music would also just randomly cut out midway through the @clear screen. More seriously, sometimes enemies and objects just popped in and out of existence. At one point during the final boss where Sonic is supposed to bounce into him to kick him away to save a wisp, the game just wouldn't let me. And then, despite having footage of all of this that you are seeing right now, when I came back to Sonic Colors Ultimate on Switch that very same evening I recorded this playthrough so I could stream it on Twitch, none of these glitches occurred. The frame rate was more stable most of the time, and Tropical Resort Act 1 even loaded nearly instantly. I had to check to see if the game had been patched or not, but nope, apparently we're still a little bit away from a much needed yet promised patch for the Nintendo Switch version. And I should mention, though the other home console versions look and run better, they apparently aren't totally glitch free. According to G, in his run of the Xbox version, he had the music cut out at multiple points on the results screen as well. And longtime friend of the channel Mykonos fan, who was playing on a PS5, randomly had his save data get corrupted. There's one glitch I had though, that I think will always color my memory of this port. Pun intended. I mentioned earlier that something happened in the Starlight Carnival Zone earlier that was so jarring and uncomfortable to look at that it gave my partner a splitting headache. And that happened during this zone's boss fight. Much as Sonic Colors Ultimate sometimes randomly behaves really well, on this particular run against this boss, it just completely shit itself. Look at this! You can see Sonic's hitbox! Why are there glowing red siren light squares? Why are there squares everywhere? And to top it all off, the frame rate is so atrocious. Who approved this? Of racing against Metal Sonic through a mountain of cake as Sonic Colors Ultimate at its best, and going against a boss of Square JPEG Zone is this game at its absolute worst. And my god, what a low it is. But in spite of all of this, it's a game I think I'll definitely come back to at some point, perhaps once it's been patched. I love the idea of playing Sonic Colors on the go still, and the game plays about the same both docked and in handheld mode. And for all its issues, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have any fun at all. But how much of that fun was just because, even with all the garbage coating it, at the heart of this rather rushed feeling remaster, there's still a good game. Like shit y'all, this is $55 here in Canada. A Wii copy will only run you around $20 to $25 currently. I don't care how much you love Sonic Colors or desire a new portable Sonic experience, this is just not worth it right now. My verdict, wait for the promised update patch to drop. If it seems to improve stability, then wait for a sale. I mean, it's a Sonic game. These things always eventually go on sale. It hurts a little bit to say that though. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a game I was really looking forward to for a variety of reasons. One of them was that my Wii copy was given to me by my grandfather, who unfortunately passed away a few months back. I always ended up associating this game with him. And don't get me wrong, I definitely got the nostalgia hit I was looking for, but though the game looks good in HD, it isn't the gorgeous package Sonic Generations seemed to prepare me for nearly a decade ago. This got a little weird and sentimental at the end, but I guess I have family stuff on the mind right now. As I showcase my lovely Patreon patrons, YouTube channel members, and Twitch subs here, along with B-roll of a petting zoo, I'd just like to note that this is going to be the last non-sponsored video I do for a while. The reason I've been taking on so many sponsors again, and will especially be doing so going forward, is because I'm actually getting married in a couple of months. My fiancé and I had to cancel our original wedding plans early last year due to the pandemic, but now they've been back home safe and sound for a few months now after being trapped in a different country for over a year due to a border closure. I'm really happy we're finally getting married. At this moment, the vast majority I earn from this channel is going towards both wedding expenses and towards a move we're doing next year. We're going all the way from Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada to Nova Scotia on the east coast. I'm not so much using this as a plea for patrons or anything, but just wanted to clarify about the sudden uptick in sponsored content, and also just wanted to talk about some personal stuff I have in the works. And for y'all subscribed here, don't worry, my 20,000 subscriber Ouya special with Gilbert Gottfried in it will be out very soon. And by very soon, I mean literally in a week. On that note, thank you all very much for watching. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time.